Hello and welcome to Goa365's Face to Face. Now today with me I have a very distinguished guest, the Italian ambassador to India, Antonio Bartoli. Signor Antonio, welcome to our show.
Hi Antonio, thank you.
Signor Antonio, what brings you to Goa first? I know I was, but what brings you to Goa? How did you land up in Goa?
I mean, the interest for such an important state and is cultural dimension. So I plan to come as soon as possible because I'm brand new. I just came at the beginning of August to India. But there was, in this case, a special opportunity, a special occasion, which is the visit of what we call Carrier Strike Group. Is a group of ships, of important ships, and we decided to have a port call in Goa. When I say important ships, they are, because it's the main aircraft carrier of the Italian Navy. It's called Cavour. It's one of the fathers of our Risorgimento, of our national independence. And the second is a multi-mission frigate. It's called Alpino. Cavour is an exceptional aircraft with which is many ships in one. Is of course an aircraft carrier, so it can host up to 22 planes and helicopters, especially the fifth generation, so F-35. It is a command center, the exceptional capacity of telecommunication and connectivity. There are 200 workstations in a very big space of 1,200 square meters only for that. It's amphibious aircraft able to carry also amphibious vehicles, and is a hospital. Is a proper hospital with 2 operating rooms, and so we also offered the possibility we brought some very experienced surgeons, and they operated many Goan kids suffering from facial malformations, and they were all operated on the ships.
Yeah, that's
the ship,
on the ship itself.
On the Cavour,
Okay.
because it's only one having a proper hospital facility. And they stayed for a while after the operation, and all were very successful. And this is very much the Italian touch. I mean, to encompass different sectors, because we had on board we have an industry defense forum. We had a beautiful reception, and of course, so also the main part then on the visit are the joint exercises that the 2 navies are going to perform.
Now, Ambassador, India and Italy have got a long relationship. Also, there's a lot going on in India as far as business is concerned.
When I just to stay 1 second on this subject. I want to underscore that this is not just an isolated episode. This is wants to be a piece of a continued design of increasing our presence in this part of the world and in this Indo-Pacific area, because we consider it important. And so last year we brought another important ship called Morosini. And just after this very important port call in Goa, we will have another important port call in Mumbai with an amazing ship. Is a tall ship, 3 masts, and is the school, the training vessel of the Italian Navy. And on that occasion, we will also set up an entire Italian village, 12,000 square meters, hosting cultural events, restaurants, workshops, exhibitions, movie screenings, and so it will be a feast for also Mumbai and to underscoring this friendship you were talking about. Yes, it's an unprecedented phase of our relationship that was elevated to strategic partnership on March 2023 when our Prime Minister came for the Resina dialogue. And once again, the sea has a role in it, because I can't remember exactly what was the title, but it was a metaphor using, troubled waters in geopolitical. And she said very clearly, our president of the council, she said, we have common values and we have common threats. And we are two peninsulas. Of course, India is much bigger, but two platforms projected in the respective sea. And these seas are not isolated, they are connected. So, yes, we talk about Indo-Pacific, but there is such thing as Indo-Mediterranean. And this has been from ever an important trade route. And we are just reviving that. And this is the idea that India promoted of the IMEC, this corridor going through the Middle East and connecting India to Europe. One can object, this is not the right moment, there is a conflict in the Middle East. Yes, there is. But one has to always have a vision and prepare for the peace and what comes with the peace. And
also
we think that this relationship and this trade route could be a factor of stabilization and shared prosperity that is the crucial ingredient for peace.
Also that political connect is there with the Italian Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister. That connect is there, that personal touch is there.
Hashtag melody
exactly
went viral.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I must say that I was surprised. I was positively
all
surprised.
It was
very
pleasant
you
surprise.
Get a taxi and they talk about that.
Exactly.
So is quite common and is. And then, frankly, our government is one of the most stable in Europe.
Yes, probably the most stable.
The most stable.
Present situation.
And personal chemistry cannot be all, but is a very important part in today politics. And so it very much favors more intense relationship. That is a strategic partnership. It means that beyond the slogans that it encompasses every aspect. And so what they are doing, the two prime ministers, is to meet again in November, mid-November, 18 November, on the occasion of the G20 summit in Rio. And they intend to sign the joint action plan. So the plan, the objectives for the next 5 years. And this will span from business, trade, innovation, connectivity, people-to-people ties, science and technology, university cooperation, tourism, defense, space.
Space has become a big thing today.
And you are the fourth country having gone to the moon.
Yes.
And we build the bulk of the modules, for example, of the International Space Station. The modules where, the pressurized modules where astronauts live and work are designed and built in Italy.
Really? Yes.
And we have kind of a leadership there in all the programs, both for the International Space Station that will be replaced by private endeavors, but also in the program for the moon or Mars. And so we think that there are a lot of opportunities. Talking about defense, and that was also the purpose of the forum, putting in connection some important, two of our main companies are in the top 50 of the world. Leonardo, that produces from equipment for high altitude operation to tanks, from airplanes to helicopters, from space to telecommunications, biggest conglomerate. And then we have Fincantieri, that is one of the most important shipbuilders.
Yeah,
in
the
world.
submarines
both
and the
both in the
torpedoes
military and in the
civil.
cruise ship. And one of the pieces of this collaboration, part of, I mean, in the framework of IMEC, is also favor collaboration in ports between.
Nice.
And also, this route is not only a railway and maritime route. It is, and it will be, also a high-speed highway.
I see. How?
Because one of our companies, Telecom Italia Sparkle, is posing a cable
Okay.
that will connect through internet, high-speed internet,
see.
Mumbai to Genoa.
I see. Wow.
And then going on from Mumbai to Singapore. So
I see.
this is a common design, and we have to be more and more connected in the interest of the economy and of peace. And when I say defense cooperation, it's not, yes, there is also a big important chunk in the, for example, co-design, co-production, but it's also, and mainly, we were talking about the joint exercises,
Yes.
a question of mutual trust. So inherently, political relationships. So
To strengthen the relationship.
to strengthen the relationship, we are, without any rhetoric, we are ancient civilizations that have
Yeah,
always,
that's what-
been
Correct.
in dialogue.
Yeah.
Rome
Maritime.
and India.
Yeah, and
are
especially
and
Goa,
are-
especially
yeah,
Goa.
especially Goa.
Yeah, because the
And,
cultures are similar. They may not be the
absolutely.
same, but they're very similar.
Absolutely.
And Goa, it loves its spaghetti and it loves
Yeah, yeah.
Italian and it's like the pizza. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's close. Even like most of us who speak Portuguese, Italian, we understand Italian. It's not
Yeah, yeah.
such an issue. So that closeness
Absolutely,
is there.
absolutely. And I encountered the chief minister and said that we have to collaborate even with this state more in terms of business. in
With
terms
this
of,
state, you need to collaborate more. I would
of-
also say.
of culture, because in general with India we have to raise the awareness
Correct.
of the respective culture. And
We
so
know
having,
Italy. I think Italy needs
Yes,
to know
yes,
India
yes,
and Goa.
yes,
We
yes,
know
yes,
Italy
yes.
very well.
Yes.
We have so many aspects of Italy which are like part of thing. But Italy needs to know India and Goa, I think.
Yeah, no, we will work together to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of
In
course.
fact, in Mumbai and Delhi, which you are having, you all should have had something in Goa also.
Yeah,
It would have been
Absolutely.
really great.
absolutely.
Like a sort of a culture and the.
For
food
example,
and
we
all that.
talk about the mobility agreement. The mobility agreement is an agreement very important that the two governments signed in October 2023. Is already in force. We are working on how implementing. But the gist of this agreement is that we can bring to Italy qualified personnel beyond the threshold established in the migration decree that every year is updated. And this is an extraordinary opportunity. It's a win-win situation. It's an opportunity for our labor market because there are some shortages that can be filled.
Really?
And
In
for
Italy?
you as India, because you have a huge population, and so these agreements, the government is signing them to favor these movements. And for example, the one of the pilot projects is on nurses, and we are identifying nursing schools able to produce good nurses, and we will teach them Italian language, because of course to
It's
interact with
important.
doctors and
Yes,
with
it's
patients you
important.
need to have an adequate level of linguistic competence, and more Italian has to become a professional value added. It's not just,
Yes,
as you
exactly,
said
yeah.
rightly,
Yeah.
the language of the gateway to
Yes.
culture, to
Yes,
food, to fashion, but it's also a skill that Indian youth can hinge on to multiply the opportunities. We have some 800 companies in India.
Yeah, 800.
Yeah. And
We know like
and
say
so-
Ferrari and Fiat. Yeah.
No, but there are many that have productivity.
800. This I was not aware. Yeah.
So it's of course can, and we should and we will do more, but it's already a robust.
It's quite robust,
presence.
Yeah, but
And we very much welcome the Indian investments. I mean, you
In
were
Italy.
talking about cars, but Mr. Mahindra that I met bought a very famous car designer company, which is Pininfarina, for example, which is at the core of Made in Italy. And we were very happy about that. So we also welcome, very much welcome investments of
Today, a lot
from
of
the
Indian
Indian
business
side.
is going out. We've bought companies from
and let
all
me see
over.
that we should work much more on the innovation side because
Research and
you are
development.
incredibly dynamic. You are the third country in terms of unicorns. And there is a lot of know-how in brilliant brains
Software,
here.
semiconductors.
Exactly,
all
exactly.
that,
And we want to bring more startups and scale-ups here to India to help them interact with the Indian ecosystem.
Also, culture is quite similar. Plus, we are both maritime.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
upon a time, maritime powers. The culture is similar. So, I don't think it's so much going to be a problem of interaction. It's just that with the
And we
political
want,
will and political
absolutely,
this
and
thing,
we want
it's
to
being pushed forward,
participate even more actively in talking about Goa, for example, the International Film Festival,
Film
the
Festival, yes.
Serendipity, and all these the big events. And we want to bring in general to India the best of both contemporary and classical art.
culture. art.
For these idea of raising the awareness, multiply as well as important, prominent, figures in all sectors, from science to business, and make them talk about Italy here, and having some important personalities talk about India in our respective universities. Universities are fundamental. We are proud of having one of the best business schools in Europe, which is Bocconi, and they have been here in Mumbai for now 13 years.
I see.
And that was really, they were pioneers, because now we are talking about having foreign universities establishing a branch. But they did it 13 years ago. They issue masters, MBA, executive masters, tailor-made corporate programs, and they are very successful. And this is important to create the bridge between the two countries, and we will try to bring more universities, Italian universities here, and also to attract Indian students in our universities. There are some who are already very popular, for example, Politecnico Milano, Politecnico Torino, the engineering schools, and especially in the STEM disciplines, we are very much demanded. And once again, without being rhetorical, these are the real ambassadors of the relationship, because they are those who can act as bridges between companies, and knowing the the respective tastes, respective needs, and only by experiences society and the culture, and having studied there, you can really.
What do you see this relationship between India and Italy and India in the next 5 years?
Where
do you think we're going to go?
As we said, we are turning page. There was there were some years of more
blank pages,
lukewarm relations. If you remember the case, so we had the Sea of the Marines.
Correct. Yes.
And this is something that can block or freeze the relationship. Now we turn page, and taking advantage of these extraordinary relations between the governments and the prime ministers, we want really to translate those headlines in concrete programs. We were talking about innovation, for example, creating a center where you can select. We open a consulate general in Bangalore. We are sending a second scientific attaché that will be posted in Bangalore.
I see.
We have the plan of organizing some tech events, putting the respective innovation ecosystem in connection, And in the future, we want to create a platform, as we did in the Silicon Valley. So, I mean, it's even more useful
Correct.
here to select some brilliant startups, Italian startups, and come here and interact
Absolutely.
with the Indian
Absolutely.
startups and with the financing entities. You know,
Absolutely.
this is an example, but the port
Is a very big
is a
area.
concrete thing.
It's a very big area.
You know, if we think about agri-food, we are still one of the best in terms of machinery, and this applies to everything.
Agriculture
and so
machinery.
we are instrumental in setting up a full-fledged manufacturing system in general. But also, I don't know, precision agriculture, you know, breed development, packaging. We have very experience in sustainable packaging. Energy transition. Goa is rich in, is very much fond of renewables, is
Yes.
rich in water.
Yes.
We are among the best countries in renewables, and especially in some sectors like hydro, for example. So having some smaller companies come here and do some smaller hydropower plants is a good idea, because they can have a quicker return and less risky investment. And this is just an example. We are good in solar, we are good in geothermal, in wind. So energy transition for sure is
And that's something that India is looking at, because basically we are looking at renewable energy in every field. It's not like be it bikes.
No,
vehicles.
when I talked about the sustainable packaging, I mean, people do realize, especially after COVID, the doses package were smaller and smaller, and so one cannot have small quantities and big packages. So it seems banal, but an attention to that is very important.
So much of waste otherwise, no?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For example, waste, if you have segregated waste, you can go for waste to methanol, for example. So there are plenty of opportunities. Tourism is a great, we want, frankly, to host more productions in Italy, because we think we have good conditions, and we have an extraordinary
place. Absolutely.
Without
Italy
any
is
arrogance,
brilliant.
we have an extraordinary country.
Extraordinary.
And very diversified.
Yes.
So I don't want to compare with the neighbors, but in Italy you can find beaches, you can find lakes, countryside, art cities, small villages, Himalayan mountains or the Dolomites,
Yes.
you know, hills of Tuscany. You have such a variety of landscapes that are natural movie sets.
Plus Rome,
And with very great conditions
Vatican,
in terms
Rome.
of tax credit, and so this is interesting for your productions. It is interesting in our case because it promotes our territories.
Absolutely. Plus, it's got Rome, Vatican, so many. It's brilliant, and it's really, really
In
very.
a small strip,
Yeah,
there
so
is
much.
quite everything.
Also, one thing about Italy and Italians I like, they're a lot like Goans or Indians. That vibe is there, that passion, that joy they view, as they say. That passion is there. which is-
we were talking about universities now.
Yeah.
I think that for a student, for example, of course it's very important the quality of
Yes,
teaching, and
yes.
we have very good universities. Let me say, even beyond the rankings, because rankings, yes, are important.
Not everything,
Are not always telling the real truth. Because I a lot of respect for U.S. campuses and their capacity to attract good talents, but for example, in the rankings there is also the value itself of the campus, the facilities that frankly sometimes go beyond even the core business, which is learning. We have very good universities, very diversified, with reasonable tuition fees, many which was not the case
Early.
15 years ago. Many English taught courses.
Really?
And you can have the privilege of staying in the incredible province cities where the quality of life is exceptional, frankly. I mean, I'm talking about, I don't want to make, but I don't know, Padua, Vicenza, I mean, small art cities where the quality of life is extraordinary and everything is, very humane. You're not in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful campus, but in the middle of nowhere. You are plunged in a vibrant and very agreeable lifestyle, which means everything. It means friends, which means the trips you can make that are very convenient. The good food, the good wine.
Yes.
And this makes an experience.
Absolutely, I agree. But he's talking about universities in US. I was just talking to Greg Pardo from the US Council. He's saying this year they're going to break all records for new admissions for students. So that means Italy has got a huge potential to attract Indians to Italy, because they think they're going to bring it's gone up, it's going up and up and up. He's saying
Europe in general
needs.
I also attended some American schools, but Europe in general has a very high level. For example, I have 5 daughters. And they went to European universities.
Yes, okay.
Then probably,
master's level.
Exactly, but especially at BA level, frankly, is more reasonable tuition fees with an exceptional, in the case of Italy, lifestyle.
Yeah, also
this
the
does
life.
make a difference.
Yeah, also the place, the life. US is a little more,
but
pressure.
it makes a difference also for businessmen. We promoted. You have a huge diaspora. We have a huge diaspora in proportion. We have 60 million people, and almost the equivalent are of Italian origin in the world. So we have another Italy outside Italy.
Absolutely.
And we promoted what we called the route tourism. So people from the diaspora that are attracted by the perspective of coming back to Italy and visit their own village, the village their grandparents came from. And there is also a business dimension, because if you're a businessman, probably if you have to, and you are from Italy, probably you are attracted
to come back
or to establish one of your activities in Italy.
Okay.
Because it's also a pleasure. We are human beings. It's a pleasure to come, and provided that is
proper atmosphere is
that is fruitful and profitable. I mean, it's better to have a profitable activity when you are also happy to go and to find a right excuse to go than an ugly place.
Absolutely. Ambassador Antonio, it was a pleasure to hosting you here in our place, and welcome to Goa. First time in Goa, I think.
Yeah, first, but for sure not the last.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
I'm just planning to come back for the exposition of the relics of St. Francis.
Yes, you're most welcome. We would welcome you. I would personally welcome you to Goa, and I hope that we.
I was touched today in visiting the church. Was extraordinary.
This Goa. He's like the Goans have huge faith in him, and as you were saying, you're also Jesuit.
I've been raised by Jesuits. And
Jesuits have a huge influence in Goa, and as of now, Salesians and Jesuits, as far as education is concerned, colleges,
and then religions must favor the relations. I mean, they are not walls to divide; they are bridges to unite.
Absolutely, that is the
bridges to unite.
Hopefully, we will see you more often in Goa, and hopefully more collaborations, not only with India, I'm sure, but also with Goa.
No, of course. That is my promise and my commitment.
Thank you
very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
This was Ambassador Antonio Bartoli from Italy, Italian ambassador to India. It was a pleasure seeing what his vision is, what his plans are for India from the Italian side. given, especially the chemistry from the political and the push which I'm sure the ambassador will be given for our relationship. Thank you again,
Thank you.
Ambassador.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And keep watching Goa 365.